to Creator Spotlight. We are here this week with Meriesa, who has made some incredible rooms in Rec Room. Why don't you tell us a bit about yourself?
Yeah, my name's Meriesa, obviously. I'm originally from California, Santa Barbara, California, and right now I'm working professionally in Minneapolis. I have a Master's of Fine Arts in Graphics and Human-Computer Interaction, and I like creating rooms in Rec Room, and I really enjoy the experience and like sharing that experience with other people in Rec Room. That's why I like Rec Room so much, is that I can actually build an experience and people can actually come in and feel that experience in a 3D environment.
Yeah, it's like really incredible going into some of your rooms. Like, I remember the first time going into the Frozen Castle and just being like, oh my God, it's the Frozen Castle. And you could like, go in and run around and stuff. It was really cool. So, what platform do you play on usually?
I usually play on, originally I was playing on the Oculus for quite a while, and now I switched to the Vive.
What kind of projects do you find interesting to work on?
The projects I like to work on are like pretty big, complicated projects that has a lot of interaction and that will where people can experience something new that they don't originally experience anywhere else. I try to do something more on the a unique edge side, so it's not repetitive to other rooms. And by doing so, I think that kind of grabs a lot of attention from a lot of people, and they want to experience those environments because they have not experienced something like that before.
And I know, like, this room, Bugs Royale, which is a very interesting room because it's one of the rooms where you are much, much smaller than you would be in normal life. So we've got, like, the hummingbird is just gigantic compared to you. And it's really interesting perspective, like, being the same size as the ants and having
Right.
everything be so much bigger than you. It's really
Mm-hmm.
neat coming into this room the first time.
You really do get to feel like you're an ant. You can go into the ant hill and actually go under the map because there's an actual
Hmm.
tunnel that goes up into another ant hill, and you can actually you find weapons there, grab them, and you can like shoot each other. So there's that level of experience. So you're not just above the map, but you're also below the map too.
Hmm.
Um, and it's about being a bug and a bug's perspective, and you get to jump around on things that you would not normally be able to jump around on.
And another interesting one I thought was the Colosseum, because no one in modern times has a lot of experience like that, where you can be in the ring and there's spectators all around, and
Oh yeah,
it's something really different from what we sort of have as everyday life in North America.
right. So when I traveled Europe for a little while, I actually went to the Colosseum, and I
Hmm.
absolutely loved it. And I always wanted to see it at a full scale, not in ruins.
Right.
So the only way for me to actually build the Colosseum was to and with how much ink and my resources, I built the Colosseum so people could actually enjoy the experience of being uh, fighting in the Colosseum.
Hmm. What's your sort of process for building those like huge, big scale rooms that you love to do?
Yeah, so what I do is I think about how big it's going to be, what kind of shapes I'm going to use, what kind of shapes I'm not going to use prior to actually building it. And sometimes I'll actually sketch it all out. Okay, so I'm going to use this shape here, and this shape here, and that will be recognized as this object.
Right.
And I will copy that object over and over again. That's exactly what I did with the Colosseum. I actually made the Colosseum a lot more detailed, and then I had to delete it and then remake the Colosseum
Oh
because
no.
it was too much. It was too much ink. So
Yeah.
I had to dumb down it quite a bit, but it still looks really nice. So
Hmm.
yeah. And then I add the skeletons just to give it a fun edge. The biggest tip I can give to new creators, watch your groups. Because like when you're making a bunch of objects, those objects take up space, but if you make a group of objects, it takes up less space.
Ah,
So
that's a really great tip.
yeah, I actually recently made a tutorial on the maker pen. You can find it on Meriesa. It's just a lot of people have actually already watched it, and it gives you all kinds of tips on the maker pen.
We'll definitely link to that in the description below for sure. Thanks so much to Marisa for joining me this week. Be sure to like and subscribe below for more Rec Room content, and we'll see you next week on Creator Spotlight.